Montessori myths busted. A common misconception about Montessori is that it is not based on scientific research. The Montessori method, in fact, has its foundation in the observation and experience of Dr. Maria Montessori, a physician and educator. Since the life of Dr. Maria Montessori, modern changes have been applied to more traditional teaching practices with the introduction of new technologies and the expansion of cultural curriculum. Over the years, Dr. Montessori's approach has been studied and validated by a growing body of scientific research, confirming the effectiveness of the Montessori method. In fact, in Dr. Angeline S. Lillard's book entitled Montessori, The Science Behind the Genius, it is revealed that current scientific research provides astonishing support for Montessori's major insights. Myth number 2. Montessori is expensive and only for the wealthy. While Montessori schools can sometimes be more costly than traditional schools in the private sector, the Montessori approach has been adopted and adapted in schools servicing communities from a large variety of socioeconomic backgrounds. In fact, the Montessori method has its roots as a full-day childcare system for members of a poor inner-city district of Rome. The misconception that Montessori schools are only for upper-class, wealthy families likely stemmed from the stigma established during the mid-20th century when the American Montessori movement began, as it was led by private preschools funded by tuition. Today, however, Montessori pedagogy has been implemented in public school settings, charter schools, private schools, and in homeschool environments. Montessori education is available in nearly 600 public schools, district, magnet, and charter around the world. Many private Montessori schools also offer scholarships and co-ops, and some states even provide child care credits and assistance to low-income families, making Montessori education accessible to many families worldwide. Although some Montessorians do practice exclusivity, many Montessori educators around the world have an intense desire to serve the child and to spread their knowledge of the Montessori method with the world. While many Montessori communities are tight-knit, they are not elitist. In fact, this is an area in which the American Montessori Society and its member schools are continuing to develop, and something that IMC and CGMS prides itself on. Visiting local Montessori schools and asking questions about their practices and about the philosophy as a whole should reveal the welcoming, accepting nature of the Montessori method and those who practice it. Myth number 3. Montessori is just for preschool children. Although many Montessori schools around the world are preschools, the method itself is designed for children from birth to age 18. In fact, Maria Montessori shared quite a bit of knowledge about teaching elementary age students and adolescents. Her book, entitled From Childhood to Adolescence, analyzes the characteristics and needs of children from age 7 to 12 and also describes the ideal setting of a farm school for adolescents, which is incorporated into both private and public Montessori programs today. Maria Montessori referred to this carefully prepared farm school as Erdkinder. She envisioned this as a space within which adolescents would live and work together, caring for themselves, their community, and the land. The farm would yield animal and plant products to sustain the community, and surplus goods could be sold to those in the surrounding area. Adolescents would develop and manage this business, establishing economic and social independence. In more urban settings, adolescents are offered opportunities to run small businesses, such as bookstores or coffee shops. If you're interested in learning more about Erdkinder, check out our video on that topic as well. Many people believe Montessori is just for gifted kids. To outside observers, Montessori students may seem advanced for their age, as they've been practicing academic skills, receiving scaffolded learning experiences, and practicing basic life skills since the age of 3 or even earlier. This may lead to the incorrect assumption that Montessori is for gifted learners. In reality, though, Montessori schools help all children discover their unique talent and potential, promoting the giftedness in everyone. Montessori is just for neurodivergent children. The fact that Maria Montessori began her work with children with disabilities also leads some people to believe that Montessori education is designed specifically for children with learning differences or neurodivergent students. Although there are Montessori schools and programs designed specifically for students with exceptionalities, neurodivergent children are welcomed and included in Montessori classrooms globally. While the method is highly effective with students with learning differences, it was designed to ensure success for all children. Montessori schools are religious. While it is true that some Montessori private schools do incorporate religious education in the classroom, and Maria Montessori herself was a devout Catholic, Montessori education is not a religion in itself, nor is it religiously oriented. It is true that some of the first Montessori programs were sponsored by Catholics or other religious organizations, but Montessori education itself is secular and is based on scientific observation and evidence. Students and families from all religious backgrounds are welcome in Montessori schools around the world as diversity is embraced, encouraged, and celebrated. Children run around and do whatever they want. When looking at a Montessori classroom, you may see 25 or more children involved in individual or small group activities. It is possible that each and every child will be doing something different. At first glance, a Montessori classroom then may seem very chaotic, leading people to believe that children can just run around and do whatever they want. If you take the time, though, to follow the activities of 2 or 3 children over the course of a 3-hour work period, you should observe a series of self directed activities. The children aren't running wild, they're each involved in self selected work designed to build concentration and to support their individual independent learning. Choosing what you do is not the same as doing whatever you want. A well known anecdote about Montessori students doing what they like comes from E.M. Standing's book, Maria Montessori, Her Life and Work. She says, a rather captious and skeptical visitor to a Montessori class once buttonholed one of the children, a little girl of 7, and asked, is it true that in this school you are allowed to do anything you like? I don't know about that, replied the little maiden cautiously, but I do know that we like what we do. Another common misbelief about Montessori is that the classrooms are too strict and too structured. Parents sometimes see the Montessori concept of work as play as overly structured. The activities in the classroom are referred to as work, and the children are directed to choose their own work. However, the children's work is very satisfying to them, and they make no distinction between work and play. Children almost always find Montessori activities both interesting, engaging, and fun. Montessori classrooms do embody an inherent structure and order, but this is only one part of the approach. Teachers give lessons to carefully illustrate the intended purpose of each material, demonstrating each work step by step in a methodical manner. However, students are then given the freedom to choose, allowing them to decide when, where, with whom, and on what they would like to work each and every day, while the guide, through observation and note taking, ensures that concepts are practiced for skill development and mastery. Montessori education promotes following the child, a practice that really focuses on meeting each child's individual needs and providing them opportunities to freely explore their own interests. Interestingly enough, since some believe Montessori education is too strict, others believe it lacks structure altogether. The Montessori classroom is very structured, but that structure is quite different from a traditional preschool. Montessori observed that children naturally tend to use self selected, purposeful, and meaningful activities to develop themselves or construct themselves. The Montessori classroom, with its prepared activities and trained adults, is structured to promote this natural process of human development. Students new to the Montessori classroom, who may or may not have been in a traditionally structured school, learn to select their own work and complete it with order, concentration, and attention to detail. Montessorians refer to children who work in this independent, self disciplined way as normalized, or using the natural and normal tendencies of human development. Montessorians refer to the child's activities in the classroom as work, as we just discussed. The children also refer to what they do in the classroom as their work. So when your 3-year-old comes home from school talking about the work he did today, it might sound way too serious for a child you just picked up from preschool. What adults often forget, though, is that children have a deep desire to contribute meaningfully. This desire we often deny when we regard everything they do as just play. With our adult eyes, we can experience and observe the child's joyful work and expressions of deep satisfaction as they experience work as play. In fact, Dr. Montessori revealed that children ages 3 to 6 do not really distinguish between work and play. For them, their work in the classroom is play. In fact, when speaking to parents, Maria Montessori once stated, "You will be surprised when I tell you that the greater part of what you call play is really work." Consider this. You start a new job. You arrive on the first day full of enthusiasm and ready to contribute to the success of your work group. You're met at the door by your new boss and told, "Go outside and play. We'll let you know when it's time for lunch and then time to go home." Ouch. But that's exactly what we do to our children when we dismiss their desires to contribute to their own well being and to the common good of our homes and our schools. Montessori schools create environments, then, where children enjoy working on activities with grace and dignity. Montessori students often describe feelings of satisfaction and exhilaration upon completing tasks that we might have only considered play. Some people falsely believe that Montessori education is against fantasy, therefore stifling creativity. Maria Montessori actually recognized that a child's ability to explore their imagination was indeed a sign of a special mental ability of higher order. However, she also realized through careful observation that children under the age of 6 are mesmerized by the world around them, captivated by what they hear, see, touch, and taste each and every day. To capitalize on the absorbent mind that children in this first plane of development possess, Maria Montessori emphasized the need to provide children with practical experiences that fulfill their inner needs, allowing them to better understand the world around them. For example, a child would much rather cut a fruit for snack than play with plastic food or cut wooden fruit. The freedom within limits approach that she encouraged provides a natural balance between providing these practical experiences and allowing opportunities for creative problem solving through fantasy play that is initiated by the child. It is important to also note that art and music are an integral part of the Montessori classroom, providing additional opportunities for students to express their creativity. The Montessori bells are an integral part of the early childhood classroom, allowing children to begin learning to hear and play music sensorially. In lieu of more traditional methods of recording work, Montessori students are also encouraged to express the knowledge that they have acquired in creative mediums. Perhaps they build a model of a volcano and label its parts, or draw a flower in watercolor painting and then label it. Creativity abounds in a Montessori environment. In fact, a recent study has even revealed that Montessori students demonstrated higher levels of creativity than their peers without a Montessori background. Many people also believe that all Montessori materials and activities must be wooden and neutral in color. The misconception that all materials must be wooden likely stems from the fact that Maria Montessori advocated for the use of natural materials that offer children rich sensorial experiences through varied weights and textures. However, she recommended using a variety of natural materials, including glass, ceramic, silk, metal, and wood. Dr. Montessori also advocated that all of the materials in a Montessori environment have an aesthetic of beauty. She talked about having spaces that are calm and inviting so as not to overstimulate or overwhelm the child. She described how this might be neutral wooden shelving and baskets or boxes made of natural materials. However, she never once stated that everything in a Montessori environment needed to be wooden or neutral. In terms of the materials themselves, in fact, color is not to be avoided, as it adds yet another rich sensorial element for children to explore. For instance, the pink tower is pink for a specific purpose, because Maria Montessori observed that children were more drawn to the use of this material and that color. The same concept is true for the geometric solids shown here on the screen, which are blue as they visually appeal to the child's senses. Many people believe that Montessorians are a selective clique. One definition of a clique is an exclusive circle of people with a common purpose. Many Montessori guides could be accused of this because of their intense desire to be of service in the life of a child, coupled with their knowledge of child development. While many schools have tight-knit communities, they are not exclusive. The enthusiasm and dedication that's evident in the work of many Montessorians might be misinterpreted as excluding to uninitiated newcomers. My experience with Montessori guides and administrators, though, has been that they are eager to share their knowledge with others. Just ask. Many Montessori parents appreciate Montessori for young children, but avoid it because they have the misconception that Montessori students are ill prepared for later, more traditional education. While the switch to more traditional schools will be something new and different for a child who has attended a Montessori school in the past, their educational foundation will have prepared them for that transition. Not only does the Montessori method promote academic learning, it focuses on the development of the whole child, fostering independence, problem solving, critical thinking, concentration, emotional and social skills, and the innate love of learning that will serve students well in any educational institution and in the world beyond the classroom. Perhaps one of the biggest concerns that parents have, based on a misconception about Montessori, is that it does not prepare children for the real world. Maria Montessori intentionally designed her pedagogy as a preparation for life, a preparation for the real world. In fact, she once said, "The education of even a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing him for school, but for life." The hallmark Montessori practice of multi-age groupings creates a diverse learning environment that more closely resembles real-world communities as students learn how to interact with people of various ages and racial, cultural, and ethnic backgrounds. The level of independence, critical thinking, and problem solving that's supported by the Montessori approach to education also serves as invaluable preparation for real-world experiences. By clarifying these misunderstandings, we've highlighted the essential principles that truly define Montessori learning and how they create nurturing environments for children to thrive. What myths have you encountered about Montessori education, and how have you addressed them in your community? Share your insights in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you found this discussion enlightening, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on all of our social media platforms for more myth-busting content and Montessori insights. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.